and good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Welcome to this
Good
webinar.
afternoon, ma'am.
Welcome to this webinar on managing change in uncertain business environment. Hope all of you are doing well and staying safe in these troubled times. Most of us have had to change the way we work. Most of our organizations also have had to do the same over the last couple of months. Having been a student and researcher of management of change, I began asking certain questions on the same in this current situation of COVID-19. Before I move on, I would like to request the audience to do two things. One is please put your microphone off, keep it in mute mode, and please do not present. Because if you present, it creates problems for the webinar. Kindly do not present and kindly keep your microphone in mute mode. Right, so as I was saying that, having been a student of management of change, a researcher on management of change, looking at the way things are happening around, there are certain questions that I began asking myself. I'm sure some of these questions trouble you as well. In fact, one of the sectors where it will be very critical to understand the impact of COVID-19 and how the organizations in this sector are managing the required changes is the food sector. Second largest producer in the world, our food processing industry so far has had a competitive edge owing to the agroclimatic conditions, arable land, other resources like livestock, and also the number of producers. Given the situation of COVID-19 and the way it has affected the food industry, some of the questions that come to my mind are, will we retain this edge? On one hand, there is this sense of scarcity that has been created, but there also is a pent-up demand. Is the supply chain able to handle it? What's happening to production? Is it in full swing? What are some such challenges that organizations in the food industry in our country are facing? What changes in work arrangements, external stakeholder relations were critical? And how have these changes been managed by organizations? What did these changes mean for the stakeholders? What all did organizations have to do to manage these changes? These are some of the questions to understand the industry perspective and get answers to some of these questions. Through this webinar, we present views from two different kinds of organizations from within the food industry. One is a producers collective, one of the largest in the country, the AMUL dairy, and needs no introduction, particularly with this audience. The other organization is a corporate entity, the Capital Foods Pvt Limited, an entrepreneurial venture that has grown to have international presence. And most of you are familiar with its brands, Ching's Secret and Smith & Jones. So that's Mr. Rajesh Srivastava. We will have Mr. Amit Vysa, the Managing Director of the AMUL Dairy, who will be presenting his experiences of managing the challenges of change over last couple of months. Let me introduce Mr. Amit Vyas. Shri Vyas, during his career spanning about 3 decades, has served with 3 dairy cooperatives as well as the apex organization in cooperative dairy sector, the National Dairy Development Board. He has been associated with technical functions and operations at dairy cooperatives before taking over as the top management position in the AMUL Dairy in the year 2018. In his technical roles, his primary focus has been on enhancing the technological capabilities of the organizations by focusing on energy management, conservation, implementing renewable energy system, effective maintenance of machinery through automation, instrumentation, and so on. Since 2018, as the MD of AMUL Dairy, he has been instrumental in growth and expansion of the dairy's operations, product portfolio, and the consumer base. He also is an alumnus of the one-year program of IRMA. We welcome you, Shri Amit Vyas.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shri Rajesh Srivastava is a seasoned HR professional with a proven track record of establishing human resource function as a business partner and delivering strategic roles across diverse sectors and levels. The sectors that he has been associated with include cement, financial services, insurance, and trading businesses. And he has held roles and responsibilities at the group as well as corporate levels in these organizations. During his career spanning over 2 decades, he has built and led successful teams and established robust practices in the areas of organization design, capability building, talent development, change management, and organization restructuring. We welcome you, Shri Rajesh Srivastava. I'm also happy to share with you that we're joined by about 55 participants and the number is growing. Once again, may I request the audience to put the mic in mute mode. I'm sure the audience will also have questions for both Shri Vyas and Shri Srivastava. Please use the chat facility to key in your question, and if your question is addressed to a specific speaker, please also mention whether it is meant for Shri Vyas or Shri Srivastava. So let's listen to the experiences of managing change from Shri Vyas and Shri Srivastava. Over to you, Shri Amit Vyas.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madhavi Madam, and hello, my friend Rajesh, and all the people who have joined this webinar. And it's at the right time, at the right thing, is managing change in the uncertain business environment, and that's true. And let me be very honest. This is my third experience, I would say. The first experience was the first experience I would like to share was in 2000 and in 2001 when we had earthquake at that point of time in Gujarat, and at that time I was in Banas, and that was also a real you can say it was a very tough time during those days. The second time was, I remember, was in 2006 when I was in Surat. At that time, initially I was at Banas Dairy Palampur, and then later on in Surat when we had lot of issues of the floods in Gujarat, in particular in Surat, and we had very tough time dealing in that area. And that time also we tried to change ourselves. And this was my third experience, and still the experience goes on, because still the things are not been set right because of this COVID-19 situation. So if you talk about AMUL, very honestly, the situation was very, we are into a product where it is like a perishable commodity. Animals, the cow doesn't stop giving milk, but we have to collect the milk. So under these environment, if you say one of the toughest challenges for us was across all the areas, you would say, was running the uninterrupted business to serve the consumer. At the same time, we also wanted that the farmers' milk should be collected at any point of time. That was one of the biggest challenge, and that too, we already started when the situation got grim. In fact, we came to know early. Everybody is knowing that it was happening in China, but in fact, in March only we started having the temperature measurements of the people coming inside the plant. At that time, there was no situation of lockdown, but that time only we all started at AMUL Dairy only. We stopped the movement of the people. That's what we were able to sense it from the situation, that more people in the plant would be a very difficult thing to handle. So we started working on that only. Then, as the situation after the first lockdown was initiated, the challenge was, then the challenge became more, because it was for the first time, like the entire country was going to shut down. So we were supposed to collect the milk from the villages, but at the same time we were continuously, because milk being essential commodity, we were constantly in touch with the government institution, liaising with the state and the central and the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, who have been continuously following with us about the implementation of ensuring that we get the milk supplies, we convert that milk supplies into different products, and at the same time we were supposed to give it into the market. The TCMF ensured that it reaches to the consumer. So the challenge was much more, because people were very reluctant to come to the plant. They were not ready to come inside. They would not like to leave the houses and come here to work. So the first thing which we did, because the challenge was so high and we wanted to ensure that our supplies doesn't get disturbed, we had to liaise with the local police and the district administration, the village level panchayats and the staffs, and for the vehicle movement for the people who are coming there at the village level cooperative societies. Because if you see our AMUL structure, there is a combination of three tier, where the village level cooperative society and the dairy plant and then the market side. So all these things were very, very difficult to manage at a time. The first thing we did was we were in touch with the collector to ensure that the supplies, we get all the clear way of movement of the people as well as for the movement of the milk. But it looks simple, but government would give the authorities to collect the milk, but how to bring about the people, they were scared to come here. So we had a big challenge over there. At the village level cooperative society, it was more talked about the big towns or the cities, but not at the villages. But we wanted to ensure that at village level there should not be any problem. We need to educate those people about the mask, the sanitizer, the disinfectant, and what are the social distancing which they are supposed to take care of. Parallelly we wanted to do that, and we also wanted to improve the moral boosting of our employees. That why would they come to the plant to do that? There were a lot of calls and people coming and talking, sir, how would we come? It is very difficult. My parents are not alive. My wife is not alive. My son is not alive. All kinds of things that were there. But the real challenge was, the collection of milk on a daily basis. And as the government realized that, because the milk was not moving from the village to the cities, because the private vendors were stopped and not allowing, the surplus of milk at the village level was again a big challenge that we wanted to handle. And again, that was a big, because those were not our members. They did not know about our quality, the standards which were there, but the government wanted us to collect the milk from them, because they were also under tremendous pressure because of the surplus milk at the village level cooperative societies. Okay, even if we do that, what about the tanker drivers who would go there on the field and then collect the milk? It was again a big challenge. There were no restaurants open, no hotels open, no dhabas open even for tea or food or breakfast. So again, a big challenge. And then why would they put their life at risk? That was again a big challenge for us. So also when the tanker moves on the road, the challenge was that they should have an unrestricted movement at the village level. You must have seen at village level people just dig up the road. They put up all the trees, cut the trees, put the bushes and all around, and then they would not allow any truck movement inside it, and then everything was to be done. Again, our village level cooperative society, so people would supposed to go to the field to make these 1200 cooperative societies with 700,000 people working, 7,000 members associated with us, to train them and to make them realize that, see, we need to be with the system, but we need to be very agile. We need to be very active to ensure that we get the milk. You pour the milk, take the milk, we pour the milk with the standard quality, and then the milk comes so that they get their money, and their livelihood goes on, and at the same time we also ensure that the milk and the product goes to the market. The third thing at the factory level was the first thing I would say, but was not ensuring no corona cases inside the factory. Again, because this kind of pandemic has happened for the first time for the world, and we also don't know what is happening. So it was also a big challenge for us. And then again, when the milk increases, because the non-corona members started pouring the milk in the system, and the quantity of the milk starts coming in more, how do you ensure that? And the people coming to the plant are less. So what happens is it's a total, and then the morals are low, because at that time everybody is very much scared. Don't talk to me. You have to create the distance. They would go to the canteen. All sorts of things were happening. But we were our team was very active in that. That what exactly we were supposed to do, we were well aware of, and we well planned it very well. Then ensuring that the production should run, that was a challenge. That the milk needs to be converted. Earlier we could make any kind of product, any SKUs, but here the challenge was milk is coming, less people coming in, all the plant needs to be run, but social distance needs to be maintained, and then you need to make the best product out of it. Again, the situation was very dynamic. So all those put together, the movement of the people inside the plant, how do they stand on the machines and do that? All kind of problems, I would say, but then certainly it was I would say it was a challenge, but then our team took it very positively, and we all, took lots and lots of initiative at AMUL Dairy in terms of right from the collection to the processing to the supply of the milk. And I hope everybody who's listening must be getting milk and milk products at their home at this point of time, even in spite of 2 months being gone. But certainly, the board, the chairman, the first thing we did was we told chairman that, okay, you can also work from home, and the directors to work from the home. We extended our board meeting, and we said we passed on circular board resolution across our board, and we did board meeting with circular board, circular board resolutions. And now we are now on net, and the next board meeting would be done the way we are doing right now. So initiative, if you say what we realized in the entire system was formation of the first COVID team as soon as this pandemic happened, and our controls were on. So we formed COVID teams across Anand, Mogar, Kanjri, Khatras, Bombay, Pune, Kolkata, Guwahati, Siliguri, even in Erode, and every position in Punjab, everywhere we have COVID teams and COVID groups and a task force team, and they are continuously being monitored 24/7 by the team, and uploading of the photographs, how we are doing it. So if you see internally, what we did was the first thing that in COVID is 19 is that, okay, measure the temperature. The person does not have temperature, so fine. So from the gate across the plant, we did start measuring of the temperature of the people. The next thing was to sanitize their hands as they enter inside the premises. The third thing was disinfecting their vehicle itself in which they are coming. We need to ensure all these tankers which goes to the plant, from the plant to the field level, was to have the mask. So we started having though we are in food industry, we do have the mask, but then we started ordering more masks because we knew that this mask requirement go up very drastically. Even we wanted to ensure the people at the village level cooperative society to understand that what is the importance of masks. So we supplied almost 6 lakh masks in 2 days, and they were available for each and every member who was pouring and coming for pouring of the milk. So that was the thing which basically they realized that, okay, this is the thing which we are supposed to do. The supervisors were there who are gardening, who were coordinating, but at the same time, you see all our veterinary doctors, they also were at the field, and they are on the field at this point of time, ensuring that almost 1.1 million animals which are been in our milkshed area, they are still managing all those with 24/7 services, and there is not a single complaint from the farmer that their services has not been given by any of the doctors. So the safety of those doctors were equally important. Safety of our employees going at the field was important. Safety of the people coming inside the plant was important. Safety of the people going out of the plant for tankers were important. So we categorized it that we made the mask like equivalent to N95. We made and we gave it to all the people across the plant. N95 masks properly were given to all our supervisors who were at the field. And we said that the doctors are more prone because they are in continuous touch with the animal and with the people was given 3M very high standard with pharma grade or the medical grade masks were given to them. So we continuously go on changing the understanding and providing support for the people. Now the question came in that okay, sanitize. Everybody said talk of sanitizing. And what happens? The market prices for sanitizers zoomed up like anything. There were short supplies of sanitizers, and we being we already had that because we are in dairy industry. We already had that, but we wanted to ensure for everyone. So we'll be surprised that the innovative idea, and we thought IDMC is just next door, and they were making a film. They had one of the product for that, and then we got it from them. They wanted some rolls from it. We gave it to them, and then all those sanitizers. We made sanitizer in house. And today we are independent. We need not to go to market to get the sanitizer. So that is the way we change around the sanitizer. Then immediately disinfectant. You cannot plan such big things. We need to, under these circumstances, we need to be so 100% taking action based on the availability of the things at the village level or the plant level. Now, when we start disinfecting, the first question, how do we start disinfecting all these vehicles? So then we got the pumps which are used in the farms, in the fields by the farmers to spray their pesticides. So we said at village level they were available. So we told them just clean it. Basically, we issued the advisories for all those people, and we supplied all the disinfectant to them. Started using it without investment. It was started, and at the plant level, we also got all these pumps, and the COVID team task force were given, and every household, every plant, every corner, every vehicle, every offices, everything, even the papers. We will supply all the papers. In case if they come, which they were coming, we have been sanitized. Even the press were used for heating of the paper, so that the people who are touching them would ensure that they don't have any kind of problem. So basically, the mask part, the sanitizer, the disinfectants, and then we made available at our veterinary centers that all these things were available. So at the village level they could take care of, and social distancing, circling of them to make them realize that this is very important for them. So by the time 1 month, 10-15 days, we realized that there could be scarcity of, the food was getting problem. Farmers were having money from the milk which they were pouring, but they were not getting the food part basically. So we said that the chairman and the board, we took a call that let us give 2 kg of wheat flour and oil to 7 lakh farmers. In 7 days, we gave 1,200 tons of wheat flour made in our plant and oil immediately from Anand Oil, and we got it and then give it to the farmers. So for the farmer part was taken care like this. In the plant level, we said that even for farmers also at the plant level, we said that okay, download the Arugya Setu. And we were in touch with all the government authorities on the advisories by the government, who has been continuously sending right from the central to the state to the district administration to the district registrars and the milk department. We were following all the advisories. I think we have in AMUL now, we have written a book on this entire COVID, the way we have done this. So all those part, basically circulars and all that were being issued, and people were continuously made aware on the common group across the employees. Now, the question came in as the time passed by that how the people are moving to the plant, and there was a restriction for the movement. There are no vehicles. We arranged for the vehicles. We arranged for the food for the drivers, for the drivers who are going. We provided the masks to the drivers. We provide sanitizer for the drivers, and then came that employees were coming in. Some of the how the employees are moving to our plant. So you will be surprised. We developed a small software, and then we gave it to everyone and said, how you are coming, just let us know. And then we realized some of the people were coming in the vehicles which were having vegetables, and certain areas in Ahmedabad, the situation was very grim because of the vegetable, were many cases. So we ensured that those people have been taken care of separately. Every areas where we could think of, we were continuously on the task. Now, if you see, the risk was further getting more and more. So we said that today, even if you come to any of our plants across AMUL, is the risk diversification management. When we say that, it means that the people who are not in plant, like in administration, the veterinary services, and those who have visited Anand may know that those building people have been given a separate areas where they are supposed to have their canteen facilities. If you go to the plant level, again, plant is bifurcated into different areas. The drivers, for that we have put up now the the pandals to have their lunch, because and lunch and the dinner separately for them. So because they are coming from the outside, so they need to be taken care of differently. So we did all those things to ensure that the risk gets to the minimum. So apart from that, continuously we were telling people to use more and more of a digitalized way of dealing with the system. And fortunately for AMUL has always been a leader in terms of adopting the technology. And in fact, for 6 months we were working on a software where we wanted to have paperless office for AMUL. And fortunately, the time was that from 1st April we wanted to start it, and then even in my office today, I don't get any paper for last 2.5 months, because the system was made and the entire office was made digitalized, paperless. So very few papers, if and only required to be signed, was supposed to be done. Rest, all the communications were done on mobile or on calls or on the video conferencing. And we were, every team, the COVID in charges were in touch with, like Bombay, Pune, Calcutta, everywhere they were in touch with them. But at the same time, we realized that the immunity of the people is very important for the farmers, for the people, and the people who are traveling. So we always went ahead with the Ayush Mantralaya thing, which they say that homeopathy, arsenic album 30, and the Ayurvedic medicines were key to success. And then let me tell you, we have given more than 3,000 people the homeopathy medicines, the Ayurvedic kadas have been made daily in our plant with the recipes given by the Ayush Mantralaya. And it's basically improving the immunity of the people. Just changing the mindset of the people that yes, it is the time that we should go for all this. And we told that please do this at their home also, because the immunity level of the people at the plant level and their family level needs to be maintained parallelly. You have good immunity, but your house does not have, people don't have the immunity at home. So there could be chances of you being a silent provider of the disease. So that is what we continuously communicated with them. Now, if you see, we also did a lot of, because a lot of collectors called us and said, Mr. Vyas, how, because they wanted to give, making money available at the village was a big challenge for the government, for the banks to reach to the villages for the payment. So we coordinated with the 1,200 societies and told our secretaries to collect the payment in the areas where there was COVID or where there was not COVID. Only one person would go collect the money and they would disperse it to the farmers based on that. So we supported them in getting their money also at their places. Now, if you say apart from that, it's not only about the milk, but the production was supposed to be on at the plant level. So we wanted all the raw material and packaging material supply chain to be uninterrupted, and we were in continuous touch with the GCMMF. The industries which were related to us, like things we wanted to have cheese for cheese and for powder and all those things, we continuously were in touch with the federation to see that all those industry also get open. And fortunately for us, all were made available and we could get the material. But as the material comes in, again, the question of the disinfectant. So we made a separate, a separate cell who was taking care of all the material which comes inside the plant was disinfected. It has been placed separately. It has been quarantined. As on date, any material coming to AMUL Dairy has been placed quarantined, and then disinfectant has been placed, and then again we use that material has been shifted to the plant. Now, another challenge, after learning over a period of time, is now that we are at our peak of our production. The milk is at around more than in Kera is around 3.6 million liters per day put all together, and all the production lines and everything has been on. And even at village level or at the plant level, a lot of the posters or the videos we have continuously telling with them. And what you learn out of it is the new product. Like you must have seen, AMUL has recently started a haldi, tulsi, and ginger juice, and new started product. You use this time as an opportunity and use this as a way of moving ahead in life. Now, just to share some of your pictures, and these are the above pictures are for the village level cooperative societies where everything has been done in system, disinfected, and village level societies. The tunnels we made, how you get the tunnels, how do you get making the tunnel? We don't know the design of the tunnel, but in one day across 4 plants, we made 4 tunnels, and everybody had an innovative ideas with that, and then they made their own way. And today we have got tunnels across, and we've been supporting others to get the tunnels. And then if you see this in dairy plant, you have got shields over there to ensure that the person working together does not, even with the mask you have given the shields to them, the sanitizing at the vehicle. If you see the social distancing at the plant, This is what we have been following, and everybody is supposed to do that. You'll find one PPE suit fellow standing here now. It has been given to all our doctors, all our drivers and conductors who are going in the COVID area. You know, the challenge was when if the COVID has happened in our Anand, in Hardwood, in Khambat, where the milk collection has not stopped at this point of time. Farmers are still pouring milk. We are collecting it, but the person is wearing this entire taking this PPE suit, and they go over there. The tanker comes in. We have a high pressure hose to clean the tanker because it has come from the COVID area, and then he's been disinfected, and then all these PPE suits have been burned. You know, we have made a procedure about it, and continuously training for all the people coming to AMUL has been on at this point of time. You can see the material getting disinfected. You can see even at the canteen level, you know, the people have been asked to have been marked and where they are supposed to send. In our parlor area, it was a big challenge for us. The first day we could sight people, you know, as the lockdown was said, that people started buying like madness, and we had to ensure the social distancing. And today we have got everything under control, and everybody gets whatever they want. So these are the things which we have done across AMUL. But what next? As we say that the what is going to be the future, to be very honest, is the digitalization communication, like meeting and purchase document, billing, yeah, everything. First part we have done. So digital is going to be the way for the future for how to be in this industry continuous without any affecting, because it's going to last long. That's what we hear from the news and across the world. The meeting, the purchase documents, the billing, and I'm very proud to tell that in next 2 months we have all our billing system also on digital with no paperless. It's going to be paperless in AMUL. And you know, innovative ideas which has come from we have been working on the ideas is how to ensure digital socializing, social distancing. Now we are working on an ID chip based, which will be given on our identity cards. We are still working on that. It's a tracking technology. If the person is come together in close vicinity, we get in the control room that, oh, these two people have come close, and we inform them, they be away from that. They will get the alarm in that. It's kind of a technology which we are working, which is again going to have a social distance, because this is with which we are supposed to live with. You know, and then again about the digital contactless system is like thermal screening, which is now right now you see persons taking the gun and doing it. Again, you have to be without contactless. You need to have auto sanitizer. You need to have automatic controls. You need to have automatic lights. And in the lighter note, you talk to Alexa, you know, a kind of thing which is going to happen in future, which is going to be the reality in the plant too. Now, again, digital process control, when I say it is about screen mirroring. Now, what you understand, you know, we have been talking on TVs and, you know, listening about screen mirroring on mobile. But the entire stream of the process would be on your mobile, because you are using your mobile, you are using your app, and once you have it, then you are touching your mobile. You are not touching to the buttons of the HMIs in the plant. So that is going to the future. The packing lines needs to be fully automated so that it reaches up to that. Now, this does not require much of investment, to be very honest. And when I'm saying this, it's not about investment. It's about how we can take care of health of our people. Now, in very soon, we will find that in AMUL, we were already working on it, but unfortunately, we could not. We have done a lot of digital order taking system, but home delivery is going to be the next thing which is going to happen, because people would be a bit scared for some time to come to the parlors or anything. So we are working on that. And the most important criteria in which we are now working, and we have already started, is yoga, meditation, and immunity building awareness program. That has already been started at AMUL, and very soon we are going to have many of the talks as well as practical implementation of breath control exercises, which is going to be the key for our people. And use this opportunity as immunity boosters, as we say now, not only milk but haldi, ginger, honey, cinnamon based Ayurvedic products. All these are going to come very soon in the market. You'll find already haldi is there. Ginger is going to be launched very next couple of days. Cinnamon milk is also going to be launched in a couple of days. You'll find a lot of cookies based on cinnamon, on honey and ginger coming, which is going to have a good effect on this. And above all, let me tell you the last thing, which is the most important thing, is optimizing the COVID expenses at this point of time. If you ask any of the industry and they look at their budgets, and this was not in the budget, but you have to put it, is the auto vehicles for for disinfecting all the vehicles. These are the persons right now doing. You need not to have that. And development of sanitizer. Now you'll be surprised, we have done it, but we are going to have hypochlorite generators also now. So we have one-time investment of the machine, and we generate all our things which are required for this. So what we say in the end, what our Prime Minister said, the last thing was to be Atmanirbhar. So AMUL is Atmanirbhar, and you people are also going to support it. I know that, and thank you very much. And as he says that the latest is that India's stimulus package, local be and local be. So thank you very much, and wish you all. I hope everybody will be safe, and please take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit Bhai, for that wonderful presentation. The kind of challenges that AMUL is facing, at the multiple levels within the organization and multiple stakeholders that it needs to deal with, and also some of the changes that have really been brought about in the way the organization is working. I think two broad changes that I can categorize them into. One is a whole lot of digitization has happened over last 2 months, and I'm sure that's going to continue even beyond COVID. The other set of innovations are pertaining to the innovative products that the organization has come up with, and also I think that really caters to the need of the market, current need of the market. So thank you again, Amit Bhai. There are a couple of questions, but I think we will first have the next presentation, and then we will take up the Q&A. Thank you again. May I now request Shri Rajesh Srivastava to begin his presentation. Now, this presentation will come from an HR professional. Mr. Amit Vyasa's presentation was from the perspective of a head of the organization. So I think this is going to be really interesting perspective, two different perspectives being brought together. So over to you, Mr. Srivastava. I think you'll have to unmute the mic.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just trying to put a presentation that I had promised you to. Thank you, Professor Mehta, for a kind introduction. Let me just see if I can get this. Just allow me a second. I think this is.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Is this visible now?
Yes. Yes, the presentation is visible now.
All right. Thank you, Professor Mehta, for this and kind introduction, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope that all of you are safe and taking all precautions. It's very nice to hear Mr. Vyas and his experience, and I can relate a lot of it that he has gone through. We are going through the same here with Capital Foods. What Mr. Vyas has been talking through has helped me to kind of relate. And as when you asked me, Professor Mehta, to be honest, I have tried to put things in perspective and try to give it a shape. The context, ladies and gentlemen, is COVID-19. And all of us are experiencing, I think, the entire all generations put together right now, I would be experiencing it first time because all kinds of pandemic. That the major one that has happened, I think, was almost 100 years back. Of course, we have had occasions of that in a small sporadic measures, but COVID has impacted the entire world. And I would like to believe that this is the impact is in time and space, global as well as long term, as far as COVID is concerned. However, at Capital Foods, when the lockdown, what we have sort of saw is an opportunity. Most of the participants today in the webinar would be aware about it. So we'll give you a little brief around that too. But in the sector that we are in, and we are in comparison to other competition, we are a relatively small organization in terms of our business. However, we have a very big heart and a much bigger aspiration, so to speak. So we saw that there is a huge opportunity, and one of the things that I wanted to highlight is how we view the opportunity. Whether we kind of freeze in this pandemic environment or we see opportunity. And we felt that there are going to be, so one of the things which, looking back, reflecting last 60 days that we have been into this situation, I would like to believe that there was a collective growth mindset that Capital Food displayed. There was a urgency for racing ahead. We saw this opportunity that we can actually, being relatively smaller, we can move faster, and I think this worked well for us. We did lots of fast tracking of some of the things that we had planned for this year. And we are, because the situation is evolving, we are decoding new trends every now and then. So some of you who would know Capital Foods, Ching's, Desi Secret, some of the products, I will skip some of these. Smith & Jones you have already spoken about. I'm sure that people in Gujarat, people in Maharashtra must be getting, in fact, now practically we will be supplying right now across India, and most of the shelves that we have been reaching to are full, while there has been a challenge around this whole thing. So we'll unfold this entire journey, and we'll try to share what we have gone through in last 60 days. For us, how we are managing our, and this is not that I am showing it to all of you as something which we had right in the beginning. But when you ask me to kind of share, put my experiences, I consolidate my experiences last 2 months. This is how it looks like in a crisis situation like this. I think we have worked on the 3 predominant principles. A guiding principle of building trust across all stakeholders, starting with employees, customers, and when I say customers, it could be channel partners, it could be retail chains that are partnering with us, it could be retail outlets, and ensure that there is a strong connect with them, they experience what we are talking about. So transparency, relationship, and experience. In last 60 days, in fact, I saw somebody was asking that what has been an impact on consumption pattern. Some of our products demand has gone tremendously, big time gone up. We are saying that we are falling short of our capacities, and we'll share that what we are doing and what we have done. However, we have made sure that our partners are made aware about that when their supplies are coming. So it's very enviable position for Capital Foods that we have lots of orders now, and we are kind of building capacities to supply. So when we started this journey, this is how and it was an articulated one, that for us, employees first. Ensuring that, first of all, employees across length and breadth, including contract laborers. I'll share that what we are experiencing. There was a shortage of supply of labor all across. We are talking about that. Fortunately, we have been able to manage that, and However, we did this thing first. As soon as we realized that we are likely to be in this situation, we ensured that employees are told everything transparently that organization is planning, thinking, or doing. So there has been almost a regular briefing. We started this journey almost around 10th March, even much before the lockdown was announced, because we anticipated that this is likely to hit us. Uh, we ensure that employees are not only informed but given comfort that anything that will happen, organization is standing behind. Another thing that we did around the same thing is about the cash management, cash flow, to that extent that we have stopped credits right now, beyond a specific point, unless and until, because the cash has been something which is an essential commodity right now. Uh, as an organization, we defined that we will not enter into some of the opportunist sale. We wouldn't get into, because we felt that there is going to be demand for our products, because Ching's both and Smith and Jones both are lifestyle brands in food, and we know that lots of aspiration is built around that. Our consumer pattern is around that, and we felt that people sitting at home are kind of likely to consume, and hotel restaurant industries, which is at hard, unfortunately, people will experiment with some of these products. And categories like Chinese masala, categories like our noodle or akka noodle, etc. We felt that there is likely to be more experimentation at home. So we said that will stay focused on the brand definition and brand promise. Uh, on the communication, which has been our hallmark, we did communication across length and breadth of all kinds of stakeholders. So we did a retailer conference call, and we have done 3 times since last 57 days or 53 days precisely, when we have addressed their concern, including the CEO sitting in on the call and talking to them. And it was an interactive call when we given them the message that what company is planning, what kind of stuff that we are doing. Uh, we did separate calls with our manufacturing capacities. Uh, Manufacturing capacities were closed on 25th March, and fortunately, by being described as a packaged food industry, we sort of got permission to operate our plant with very limited labor workers, with, of course, all the conditions that Mr. Vyas was saying, that ensuring the social distancing, ensuring that nobody is going outside. So in our plant and 2 of our plants in Gujarat, where we started our operations first, right on 28th, 27th March. They're 3 or 4 days into lockdown. We made arrangements in flat 48 hours for 200 workers staying within, from a mosquito net to fan to their food arrangements to managing their daily chores to sanitization to bathing facility, including their entertainment facility, to ensure that they are engaged enough and remain motivated. Because we felt that their families, most of them are migrant laborers, so their families are away, and they are in a situation which is very anxiety prone for them. So we did that in both the plants, which are our noodle and masala plants, and are anticipating that we will get permission to operate with more workers. And in 4 or 5 days' time, fortunately, we have got permission, and our plant, fortunately, are running even now. All manufacturing capacities that we have right now are working full capacities, 3 shifts, and we have sort of added more capacities. More importantly, we felt that in this situation, it is not the job, the money, because the situation is very different. We also felt that supplies of essential food commodity is something which is going to be critical, and we as an organization felt it is national duty. Like all of us are getting AMUL uninterruptedly, phenomenal distribution, supply, and brand promise that AMUL displays and has been displaying. We felt that this is exactly what is the situation, and therefore some of our food categories are likely to be consumed. Uh, so it's just it's kind of serving the nation and in this hour. And we know that some of our competitions haven't been able to start their plant, and therefore we felt that uh, it is incumbent upon us to ensure that our products are reaching. You will show, in fact, we have, if opportunity, our time permits, will share with you some of the photographs of even some of our area sales managers, occasionally wherever they got permission to supply, have delivered products to counters in their own vehicle. Uh, so the sense of purpose, something which we felt that was very and has been a binding force and continues to bind us as an organization. Uh, so, the serving the nation, working on the loyal customer, etc., has been one of the. We also say that this entire thing needs to be managed well, and therefore we what they call is put the mission first. We said that entire organization's resilience needs to be built. Everybody needs to have a comfort. We should have ability to deal with any unforeseen. So a BCP plan, a committee, all that was put in place, and this is actually my day. That my day starts 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. with a call on everybody. We have put RSPOCs in every zone and in every plant in Gujarat or Maharashtra or Karnataka or Uttarakhand, wherever we have. All of them get on to call. One of our primary criteria has been to ensure, and which is our, as I say, employee first, is their families and their health. So there has been a continuous message flow that you have to take a call on your safety, precaution, etc. before moving out. So while we intend to serve our consumer, etc. However, we would not like to compromise anybody. Uh, so this entire thing was put in place. Our senior management team meets twice a day. The second call that I get into 9:30 every day with the senior, which is a 6-7 of us, and which is like a command center, and we have experienced lots of things which has changed in last 60 days. Major decisions which typically would have taken a month or so, all face-to-face meeting. We have discovered lots of new ways of managing. Last 60 days, we have added 5 contract manufacturing facilities. All manufacturing facility inspection happened on videos or VC. All discussions happened on video calls. All contract signing has happened electronically, something which has never happened in this company's 24 years journey. And I'm sure lots of us, I've worked a long time with Aditya Birla Group, which is a large corporate. We have never seen some of these contracts getting signed. Even we wouldn't have imagined that we would be doing this. So there is an opportunity that we experience here. We have also found out this opportunity to identify some of our better ones to empower them. So people who have been kind of doing well, we have identified and allowed. So all plant heads are typically right now are allowed to take decisions whatever fits within the overall framework of government notifications. For example, all workers, whoever in one of our plants in export processing zone, we don't have a staying facility, and the mandate is that they need to travel in a specific bus. So they have put a specific bus which is sanitized every day, and then a bus of 60 seater carries 22 people and does a 3 rounds to get workers. Uh, Sanitization tunnel and things like that, which is now very common, has become common, has been put in place. Another important thing that has happened is around the supply chain across. I think on all distribution businesses are experiencing. There are lots of new supply chain companies which are emerging, and as our Prime Minister is saying, vocal for local, I think we will see lots of opportunity emerging around that. However, in our context, we have created the entire warehouse network. We have opened some 3 or 4, I think, new warehouses to ensure that there is enough stocking of material close to market, to ensure that we don't get hit by unfortunate, unforeseen circumstances of a second wave or third, something like that, which has been a trouble in our experience. Digital capability, as I mentioned, technically everything that we are doing from being a food organization, we have a strong food safety protocols to follow. Lots of inspections, other than that, which cannot be done electronically or away from plant, which is typically online quality control or quality assurance checks. Everything happens now digitally. All reports are flashed here. We have been able to put in 3 or 4 weeks before a mechanism that every quality audit is online, and that happened in last four weeks. So we've kind of managed entire manufacturing facility, which is of Capital Foods own, is on an electronic and digitally controlled system. So we can exactly know that what kind of raw material, packaging material, what is the standards, what variations, how can this be managed. All that has happened. Other than that, I mentioned that some of the stuff that we have done recently. Uh, More importantly, what I realized is, as I say, that perfection is the enemy of good. So lots of decision making that has happened, as I mentioned, opening the plant, for example, or for that matter, uh, opening our some of the product categories, looking at that. We have taken the decision right now also when we are hiring right now, and in last 40 days, 45 days, we have done some hiring, and typically at middle level, uh, in normal way, even HR guy like me would have said that face to face milte hain. All that has changed. We have met people over a video call. Everybody met. We've seen, and offers have been rolled. And in fact, a couple of people are likely to join in next 3 4 days. So speed has been our hallmark. We that has been a learning, that is speed at which we move. So perfection is something we have tried to avoid. And one of the things that we say that how we are coming across. So they that own the narrative. We have been very transparent with our stakeholders, whether it is board or whether it is consumers or channel partners. We have exactly told them, and time and again, almost on a weekly call, the sales heads end up telling them that where we are, what kind of production has happened today, what kind of SKUs are being planned, what is your order size, and how you will get, and when you will get, and when you can commit. So I think this has helped us tremendously in our journey. As I mentioned, embrace the long view. There has been opportunity we have seen as a company, as an organization, as a brand. Uh, we had planned to grow. We are one of the fastest growing food companies in India. We had lots of plan to grow this financial year, and in fact, all the plans of including manufacturing capacities, warehouses, transporters, all that has been fast forwarded now, and we would be practically completing all the plan in this quarter itself. So that has been predominantly our experience in this. We are experiencing issues around the labor supply with people going back. Fortunately, we haven't experienced that. However, we have kind of lots of workers who are working with us has been fairly regular in the past few years, and so we haven't experienced that. However, we would like to incentivize all of them. We are kind of working on to do that for them. Not for any lure. However, what we intend to do is communicate our gratitude to them for staying and working hard in these times. So that's the broad experience has been. I would be open for question.
So thank you, Srivastava. If I have to sum up the presentation, so while retaining focus on food safety and QC, handling the challenges of supply chain, managing people, and maintaining consumer connect, this has been done by Capital Foods by focusing on speed, on transparency and frequency of communication, and with a focus on long-term perspective. So I think both these presentations have really been, packed. I'm sure, 20 minutes, 25 minutes of time for this presentation. I'm sure both of you would have found that it's not really adequate. But something that was very remarkable about both these presentations and also common in both these presentations was enhancing the digital capability of the organization, and the second one was about the opportunity. Since Horeca segment has come to virtually standstill, both AMUL and Capital Foods, rather than being bogged down by the crisis, have been able to see an opportunity in this to grow while continuing to serve the market, serve the nation. So thank you once again, Amit ji and Rajesh ji. We are now open to questions. I think there have been quite a few questions which have already been keyed in the chat. So I'll read out these questions and then you can respond. So the first two questions from Krishna Mishra and Professor Shailendra are closely related. These are basically about the effect of this crisis on production and sales or consumption pattern of milk and milk product. So Amit ji, if you could respond to these two questions.
See, the point here is that first of all, the production has increased. There's no doubt about it, and it has, in the sense, the procurement of the milk itself has gone up by 15% in our milk shed area. So first thing is that more milk coming in, and in the first month of the lockdown, we had some, because the things were not at the right place. But initially it was slowed down. It has slowed down, but now we are on the growing. It's compared to last year. We are now growing. In last couple of let us put it like the last 10 days, the growth has been more than the last year, in spite of that Horeca segment is not there. So there has been change in the pattern of the consumption. That's what we are seeing, because more people, migrant people, leaving the places, and people. Let me tell you example of ice cream, that people are not having ice cream these days, but suddenly we find that the ice cream has started moving. But the pattern has changed. The smaller cups are not being required now. They want 1 liter, the entire box of ice cream. And when I talk of powder, the trend has changed from 500 gram or 1 kg to 200 grams or 224 grams or to 13.5 grams of the small sachets of 5 rupees and 10 rupees. If you look at cheese, there again, there's been change in the eating habits of the people. And I think this is mainly because people are at home and they have been buying in a very, very different way. The bigger size was going more of a Horeca and the restaurants, all the areas, whereas now in home consumption, you need to have a smaller packs at home one time, and whenever you want, you can get it, buy it anytime, because now milk and milk products are available on shelf at any point of time across India with support from GCMF. They have been continuously ensuring that there's no short supplies across India, and from day one, Dr. RSOD, MD, GCMF has been pushing and telling that there is no scarcity of any products. And we can also tell you from the production perspective, there's no scarcity. In fact, we have got more products anytime it is available on shelf. Whatever is required is available at this point of time. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask Mr. Vyas a question? Well, thank you, Rajesh here. Professor Mehta, can I?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
So one of the things, first of all, I must thank you and entire AMUL, that the kind of the way you have managed. I don't think that sitting at home for last, and I'm a big AMUL fan and consumer for ages. I have not experienced any dearth of any material or any SKU that I would have wanted to. Occasionally, there might have been kind of, because there is a rush when the shop is open. That has happened, but I don't think that I've experienced for last more than 48 hours, to be honest. How did you manage this entire supply chain? What did you do? Because there's a huge issue around people moving. We had to issue a digital card and all that kind of thing. How did you do that? What did you do? How? I mean, this is phenomenal.
Basically, that's been taken care by our Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. But let me tell you from, because we have been continuously working with them, they have been looking, because they are also 100% digitalized, to be very honest. And today, if you ask which product, which place, which shop, where, we would know what is not on the shelf. That is what we know at this point of time, in sitting here in the office. So we ensure that which is an area, we have been, the government of India and the state governments and the different state governments, they have been continuously supporting us, and GCM has been coordinating with the Home Department as well as with the Security Department and along with the collectors across the entire India, to ensure that whatever is been required, all these trucks are been given smooth passage, and we have, everywhere it has been written, on service on AMUL, and the passes have been issued to them. Because all our people, the people who are working from in the different states and that place are in constant liaising with the state government, with the local authorities, to ensure that their vans and the movement does not get restricted. To be very honest, on the first day of the lockdown in Maharashtra, it was a nightmare for us, let me tell you. And then it was like the first day, my person called me in the morning and said, "Sir, there is no worker in the plant. We have 200 people and we don't have. I said, "How many people you are?" I said, "We could able to stop 30 people who are in dispatches and late night. We have asked them to stay back in our premises." And I said, "Okay, don't worry. Whatever you can do, you do. You take your own call. Don't worry about whatever can be done. Let us try to pack." Let me tell you, we were surprised with around 50-60 people with us, and most of the plant is automated. Even the robotics is there to pack the milk. Still 40% of the entire milk was processed, packed by our people, right from worker to the factory manager. They stayed there. In less than 16 hours, we could pack almost 465,000 packs, liters of milk was packed and dispatched in the market on day one itself. So that is the kind of commitment. To be very honest, we like AMUL anywhere where the distribution, we talk of distribution or the plants, because from here, Kera, we handle 37 plants. I handle 37 plants. So anywhere we are not supposed to, we need not to tell anybody that, okay, you are supposed to come. We made it very clear to the employees that this is essential services, and we ensured their smooth movement from their house to our places. Whether in Calcutta it was a red zone, or whether it is in our area where it is the remote, where the cattle feed plants are in the remote areas, we ensured that the smooth passage for the employees. That was the first priority, and anywhere which was getting hindrance, we were in touch with GCMMF, and the GCMMF was trying to get touch with the state governments and with the other governments to ensure that we don't have any problem. So local control, local people controlling and talking to the local people basically helped us in moving into this area and ensuring the supplies at the doorstep of the distributor, so that retailer. And the new model which you have seen in Mumbai is the van we have sent it from Anand is now in the is a different model, which now you must have seen is going to the big localities, and there you take the order well in advance, and society starts earning money out of it. It's saying it's a very good model of distribution. So that's the first model which has been done by GCMMF, and for in the people who are from Anand itself, in Anand, Vidyanagar and all. We are saying that very soon delivery at their home doorsteps would be the next thing which will be making it happen, irrespective of COVID or COVID is not
there. That's wonderful. We have two questions now for you, Mr. Srivastava. One is from Professor Sushant. From the lens of organizational culture, what kinds of practices, mechanisms are adopted by Capital Foods to develop the sense of purpose that you talked about?
Look, one of the things. Thank you for this question. This is something which can take a long time, but let me put the number of transactions or the way we are doing or managing. See, as a human being, all of us inherently want to do something larger in our life. That is inherent, and all of us would like to contribute to a larger cause. there was an opportunity when so in fact, as soon as the Janta curfew was announced, and we felt that we anticipated that this kind of a situation is likely to come. That is why sometimes around the 10th March we were kind of starting mentally getting ready ourselves for this kind of situation. So the first thing that we did, in fact, we gave a ad which is more like a brand ad, but we supported the Janta curfew for the full. We have never done a full page, front page ad in last few years. Uh, uh, so that was the first thing, and when we kind of this advertisement came on the front page of Times of India and a couple of other newspaper local and in the market, lots of employees called us or their managers and told that they are very proud about Capital Food supporting something like that. And that's when this idea came that, see, we will be in a situation, and when we are discussing, we realized that food supplies are going to be very, very critical at this point in time. And being in this category, all of us will experience this challenge, and therefore we should be ready for that. So in our discussion, it happened that somebody came up with this idea. I don't recall who, but four or five of us together, and we said that, look, at the end of the day, and believe you me, last 3 months we haven't looked at any numbers in terms of sales happening, which is unlike a private organization, and we are a private equity invested company. So the board and etc. and some of the global players are there. In 3 months' time, we ourselves go and tell is different, but not a single board person has ever asked that what kind of number we have. So or whether we are against the plan or where we are. And we felt that, look, that kind of confidence, it is our duty to ensure that our products are available as much as we can to the market. And therefore, this idea came that we have to serve the nation. It's a national duty that makes sure that we are there. Second thing, that from not practice but from a philosophy point of view, we have communicated across length and breadth that you are empowered right now. So every person, we are not talking about whether you are in market or not in market, whether you are attending plant or not, whether how you are. So we have kind of made the entire empowered organization that you take the right call. This is where, as a company, we are standing. This is what our vision is. But we are not going to micromanage anything. You are free to take a call to that extent. If you want to buy something, or you want to, while there is in a typical organization, there are entitlement, etc. We said that go ahead, do the appropriate spending, that you right to the last man standing, which is the junior most. We have kind of given them this sense of ownership in wherever they are. We have also told them that as part of our philosophy to be transparent and ensure trust in the channels, every person while sitting at home should be talking to their partners, whether it is a retail outlets or channel or distributors or whatever. So everybody is doing. So technically, I mean, if you can imagine the entire sales force has become a call center. So they are connected with their entire network over phone, digitally on a WhatsApp. They are taking orders, punching it, and all that kind of stuff. So that is, of course, as a cliche stuff like recognizing people, giving them certificates. We are running a campaign on LinkedIn, which is our profile, where we are recognizing some of the people who have been doing exceptionally well. That is so these are some of the things that we are doing, and we will we are learning in this phase, and we will continue to evolve this to make sure that this sense of purpose stays with all of us.
That's interesting, because I think as a researcher, student in change management, one recognizes that the devil is in the details. On one hand, you talk about the challenges that one faces, and you talk about what changes you've made. But how does one do that? That is something which is really critical. And so, thank you for your response. There is one more question we have for you. Well, maybe two more. One is, what percentage of your employees are working from home during the lockdown? And is it going to be a usual performance appraisal for last year, that is 1920? Because I think, you know, the lockdown began sometime toward the end of the financial year. And if financial year is your performance cycle, then how is this going to
Get this question often, and this was so. Thank you for asking this. This so first thing, other than plants where we had to manufacture, entire workforce, almost 1,000 plus people, are at home. Plant operating people, etc., as all of them, including the respective plant heads, are staying inside the plant. If I will possibly, if you go to our LinkedIn handle, you will see we have created their food facilities, and our CEO's mandate was very clear that it got to be world class. So that is how it was. The person who cooks the food stays inside the plant. Those who are involved in cleaning is staying inside the plant. Every person is staying inside the plant. There are additional vehicles hired for people in case they have to go and meet their families and come back. So there are additional vehicle 24/7 put in the plant so that they don't have problem in going. All vehicles are sanitized. Being a food industry, any which way, our sanitization norms are far stringent. So shop floor is sanitized twice a day. This has been our practice even much before anything of this kind was in vogue. So from a sanitization quality standpoint, these things were practiced and they are kind of instilled in our manufacturing facility. But other than that, everybody is at home, number one. We don't follow April-March cycle of annual appraisal. We follow a July-June cycle. However, we have got some tearful messages from some of our colleagues, which was quite unlike, and I have gone ahead and 3 times communicated to everybody in writing and in person and face-to-face video and calls. Capital Food is not looking at any salary cut of any kind for anybody, no job losses. We are growing, we are hiring. We will look at the appropriate. We are doing appraisals right now because people are sitting at home and our appraisal process is on. We will do all as per our announced policy, all bonuses and all increments. We are not going to do anything, and this message has been communicated. In fact, to add, current year also, we are not changing any plan. We have communicated to everybody. Some of our employees have come and told us that, sir, इस बार तो पूरा plan करेंगे, which is for current running year. So whatever we had presented as part of our planning and budgeting much before the corona was anywhere in our reception, we had committed some number, and that is how the sense of purpose is helping. It is lots of employees who in one of the meeting has told that इस साल तो पूरा plan number deliver करना ही है sir. So I hope that I have answered this.
Absolutely. I think, you know, it's this whole idea of empowerment, trust, and, you know, that, you know, also gets reciprocated. So
Yeah.
that's really wonderful. I think we have this last one question for both of you. And this is from Shashank Rakesh. What will be the new normal in HR management across different levels, operation, tactical as well as strategic? So this is for both. So yeah, we will look forward to both of you.
So you want to go ahead first?
Questions.
All right. So let me take this first then. See, there's going to be huge opportunity now, to my mind. Work from home, digital is going to be new normal. And for lots of organizations, whether it is AMUL or whether it is Capital Food, it gives us access to huge amount of talent, which was earlier sitting at home. whether it is lots of our women professionals who have, in our context, has been managing homes more than they were available in the professional world. We will see lots of gig workers joining workforce. They will be now. This kind of a design will allow a specialist to help 5 organizations simultaneously sitting at home. Which was, in fact, last 30 days, I would have participated in more such conferences or webinars than ever I would have done it in last 1 year, because sitting in Mumbai, it is very difficult. If you have to attend a particular webinar or a conference, practically says you have to spend 6 hours, and we used to avoid it. In fact, in the morning, early morning, I was on a conference call with some of the colleagues. So this is the kind of normal which will come. I also foresee some of our infrastructure facilities need to be rejigged to meet that. However, with social distancing, look, see, Corona is going to stay with us now. I don't think that the debate whether it was a laboratory created or naturally mutated virus is irrelevant for us. As far as I am concerned, this is going to be with us around unless and until we have a medicine, number 1, or a vaccine, number 2, and thirdly, as a community, we have kind of developed immunity. And therefore, Mr. Gadkari, in one of the interviews mentioned, so let me just steal the quote, we have to learn the art of living with Corona.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Amit.
What we see and what we have already started, as I told you in the earlier things also, that digitalization is going to be the key. So the more of digital training which we have already started, more of webinars, what has been happening. I've instructed that all the webinar needs to be recorded with the concerned people, more people sitting and listening and talking and discussing on the webinar. A lot of technical things are now started happening on webinar. So there was no need for the people to go out, travel, and then learn. It is more sitting here and you can learn a lot. So digitalization is going to be the key, the first thing. The second most aspect which we all need to emphasize and which we have been emphasizing now is not only the health which we have been taking care, but health of the individual and their families. That is the key. Basically, all the entire business will depend on the people who are working with you. So every now and then, the medical things, like today also we have a system. We are almost from, at one point of time we had 260 people sitting at home and working. Today, every day something is happening. So today we have more than 50 people in quarantine. Even our managers are quarantined, someone in Jammu and somewhere in Anand. So basically, we need to improve the immunity of our team, entire people, and the knowledge pertaining to their health is going to be the key for next couple of, not couple of, but continuous improvement. Now we have recently now put up a session with Shivani Didi for making them aware about how the change is happening and what they are supposed to do. At the same time, we are arranging, as he rightly said, because I did Art of Living way back in 1990s. So in 1997, 98, I did that, and we've been following this, doing Surya Namaskar, Pranayam, and all those things, which is going to be the part of our daily things, and we need to have this for our people, which we have started in AMUL now. So obviously, these are the two basic things, the technology, and people would be trained more of operating the plants on digital way, because as a industry 4 solution, and we've been talking, as I told you, that individual mobiles are going to be the key for operating the plant. That is where we are now started, as I presented, we already started working on mirroring the HMIs and then using it to be on the safety of the people. And this already, with the level at which we have reached, we need to further more digitalize it, and that's where the employee needs to be more, accepting the change of digitalizing the things and using it in the paperwork or what you say, that the conventional way of working. So that's going to change a lot, particularly on the HR things. That's what I personally feel.
So I think while yes, we are talking about work from home, considering that both these organizations are in food sector, you also see this stay at workplace kind of a trend continuing for some more time, because we have both this kind of ways of working depending upon the nature of work that the individuals are involved in.
But the point here is that the people who are working in plant cannot work from home, to be very honest. The people who are in the sales, who are in finances, who are in audits, who are in purchase, at least they can have a digital system and the network which we have at this point of time. The people who are supposed to be there in the plant needs to be there, and that's it's going to be a challenge. But as I told you that more user friendly operational system needs to be developed so that less technical qualified people, even if at the plant level, can run or operate the plant, and more of easier way of operating the things would be the key for the entire future.
Yeah, that's what, just to add to Mr. Vyas, look, that is what I'm saying. We are creating post COVID our preparedness, what things we need to put in place in offices, in plants, etc. While we have whatever we have done is a reaction. Okay, we have had lots of learning, but I don't think that we are putting systems, and we are actually learning and trying to put systems in place. So everything is transitional, short term right now. However, as I mentioned, that this is going to be a long-term affair, and we may need to do some fundamental changes. For example, we are also saying that some of the people, whether they need to be, some of the jobs basically, whether the person in those jobs are necessarily to be in office or not. Then for future, like TCS has announced that we can work from here or there. So. We are considering that if that is the case, then people can actually sit in their native place or whatever, as long as we have had enough bandwidth, data availability, our IT security system, data breaches, etc., are protected well. Once in a while, we can fix up a protocol of meeting face to face. Because one of the downside of working from home, etc., is our natural desire to connect with people. Because some of the things that we do, which is like typically we end up talking in our meetings, that our coffee break and cigarette breaks, etc. We used to crack a joke as kind of is things of pastime. It's suddenly, of course, our productivity. Fortunately, some of us have increased because you actually manage right now another 5 minutes. I am getting into another meeting. So it's minute to minute, but I think it will drain us over a period of time. So we need to create a space for people. This kind of desire to create environment, social get-togethers, etc. And let's see social distancing, how we are able to do that until unless we have a decent medical answer to this pandemic.
I think there are some more questions coming in. There is this one for Amit ji. Can we see AMUL entering into packaged drinking water segment and carbonated beverages, and giving a tough competition to Coca-Cola and PepsiCo in future?
Yeah, vocal for local.
Local for local, yes, we are on the job. You must have seen last year we entered into AMUL True, came up with AMUL True. That was in the juice segment where we entered, and we created a lot of havoc in the market. And you may find very soon, as the first thing was towards the health, and very soon, yes, we'll find a lot of new things happening from AMUL side, which I cannot disclose at this point of time. But sir, you will find a lot of new products certainly in the markets. We have been continuously putting up, like GCM have been continuously every 2 days or 3 days, we are having some kind of new products being developed, and we are sharing, and we are trying to put, like Haldi was the first thing which we do in the shortest of the shortest time that we could do. And as we have already declared that ginger milk is also going to be in the market, and the Tulsi milk is also going to be in the market very soon. Very soon. So all these 3 products, and based on that, different cookies, and all those products, those are Ayurveda based, will be there in the market very soon. And we'll find certainly probiotic is going to be the key, which has been moving at a very good pace. So a lot of probiotic drinks, which is, again, I told you, it's all more about the health now, and people would be preferring to use more of those products that will help to improve their immunity, and that's why we call that as a immunity milk at this point of time.
Okay, I think there is one more question for Mr. Srivastava. If the company is using profit maximization technique or selling with consumer or trade offer so that it gets connected with people and markets legacy.
So, Professor Mehta, can I just hear? I think there was some noise. I couldn't hear this question clearly.
I'll repeat it. So, if the company is using profit maximization techniques or selling with consumer or trade offer so that it gets connected with people and markets legacy. This comes from someone who has, been a close follower of Capital Foods and has seen the, company grow. So, yeah.
All right, thank you for this question. See, our operating rule has been serving the nation, reaching to consumers. So, in specific categories, specific segments, there are different kinds of practices that run. Our focus is not, as I mentioned, in fact, during my interaction, that last 3 months, since March, we haven't looked at the numbers, the kind of money that we have made or the kind of sales that we have done. One of the things that we track on a daily basis is that how many people have ordered and whether we are able to supply. So that has been our sort of guiding mantra. So if it requires an offer, it will be. However, our brand positioning is different, and we wouldn't like to dilute our brand positioning in this. While the overall sense of purpose, national duty, etc., we may like to do charity, but we may not like to sell it cheap. So, for example, in and around the plant, we have been all our transporters. Everybody carries noodles, chutneys, etc., because we know that all hotel, restaurant, dhabas are closed. So we have been serving our communities in and around almost on a regular basis. So we will do that, but we will not sell cheap in the sense that if something is 10 rupees, we start selling it 5 rupees. That is not, because that's not long term. That is not how we would. But yes, if there is an offer that needs to be done in a modern trade or in large retail, etc., whatever, which is business as usual. So then we wouldn't do anything.
Okay, thank you. I think we've had very rich, very insightful discussion over the last 1.5 hours. I would like to thank both of you, Amit ji and Rajesh ji, and also the audience, which has listened to both of you so keenly and has raised, have raised very interesting questions that got us more details about how these changes are being managed by both these organizations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mehta. Thank you, gentlemen, for listening us. It was a pleasure interacting with you, Mr. Vyas, as well.
Thank you very much. It was nice having you, listening to you, Rajbhai. And you are also all are most welcome to AMUL once it is open.
Of course, thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you.